Oh my god, man! Who got bars like you love me? Say hi to my knee.
This morning, the search for evidence after a shooting in Sacramento where a woman was killed and a man was injured.
February 14th, 2024, Sacramento, California, Valentine's Day, the night when restaurants are packed, when gas stations sell out of roses, when people go out of their way to remind the ones they love that they matter. But in a parking lot on Florin Road in a shopping center called Lake Crest Village, a 26-year-old mother was bleeding out on the asphalt, and the man who pulled the trigger, he was already gone. Her name was Chasity Rose Sparkman. She had 2 kids at home, a dream she was chasing, and a life that by every account from everyone who knew her was just getting started. She didn't come to that parking lot looking for trouble. She came because she thought she could reason with someone she had trusted with her life. That trust. Well, there was the trap.
What you here?
Nobody sent me here.
How do you know
It's
where I
me,
live?
baby. It's me.
Now here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. This story is not just about what happened to Chasity, it's about the signs that were there. The moments that, looking back, screamed danger. The decisions that made sense in their moment and were devastating in hindsight. Because here's the question that's going to follow you through this entire episode. If you saw these signs in someone you loved, would you know what you were looking at? Most people don't. And that's exactly why stories like this one need to be told. Before we go any further, if you are new to this channel, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now. Not because of the algorithm, not because it helps the channel, though it does, but because the story you are about to hear contains warning signs that most people never learn until it is too late. The kind of red flags that hide in plain sight inside relationships people thought were normal. If subscribing to this channel means that one person, just one, catches these signs before they become a tragedy, then this video has done its job. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and if you are someone who is still on the fence about subscribing, go down to the comments right now and tell me why. Tell me what's stopping you, because I genuinely want to know. Now, let's get into it. To understand what happened on Valentine's Day 2024, you have to understand who Chasity Sparkman was, not just as a victim, but as a person. Because the moment we reduce people to their worst day, the day they were taken from us, we lose something important. We lose the full picture. And the full picture is the only thing that makes any of this make sense. So let's go back. Let's go back to Sacramento, to a girl who was born on July 17th, 1997. A girl who grew up with fire in her. People who knew Chasity described her the same way. Almost every single time. Outgoing, magnetic, always smiling. She was the kind of person who could have a full-blown argument with you and then call you the very next morning like nothing happened. Not because she was a pushover, but because she refused to let love go cold. She didn't hold grudges, she held people. She had 2 children, a son named Zion, who was 8 years old, and a daughter named Princella, who was 6. Those 2 kids were everything to her. Everything. She was pursuing a business degree. She had ambitions in the music industry. She was building something, piece by piece. not on her own terms in a city that doesn't always make it easy. Her father, Alfonso Sparkman, adored her. Her older sister, Niana, looked out for her. Her younger sister, Lasha Lynn, looked up to her. And her cousin, Vanessa Renee Adams. Vanessa was one of her closest people, the one she called when things got hard, the one she reached out to on the worst night of her life. But we'll get to that. The point is, Chasity Sparkman was not a statistic. She was not a headline. She was a real woman with real children, real dreams, real people who loved her. And 3 days before she died, she posted something on Facebook that, looking back now, reads less like a status update and more like a cry for a different life. She wrote about wanting to surround herself with positive, classy women. She wrote about wanting peace. Think about that for a second. A 26-year-old mother publicly posting about needing peace, publicly reaching for something better. What does it tell you about what her private life looked like? Here's what it tells investigators, and what it tells anyone who studies these situations closely. When someone in an abusive dynamic starts pulling toward independence, starts talking about peace, positive energy, new beginnings, the danger doesn't go down, it goes up. Because the person controlling them feels it. They sense the shift. And for some people, the kind of people who see another human being as something they own, that shift feels like a threat. And threats to people like that require a response. The man in Chasity's life who fit that description had a name, Isaiah James, her husband. And by Valentine's Day 2024, our Isaiah James had already decided what his response was going to be. Chasity just didn't know it yet. Welcome to Unseen True Crime Stories, where the darkest secrets and untold cases come to light. Consider subscribing and tapping the notification bell. That way you won't miss our next true crime story.
As you get on a roller coaster, you used to hearing a click where you put the shit over your head. That's how you know you locked in. Yeah! Let's go, bitch. Locked and loaded. I'm ready. In Japan, it wasn't no click. They put the shit over me, I could still move it. I was like, I ain't got no click. My shit ain't click. I ain't got no click. I looked down my row and some Japanese people in the aisle. I was like, I ain't got no click. This lady took a camera out, started taking pictures. I was like, bitch, no, this ain't the time for that. This is not the time for that. This is serious. Japanese guys walking back down the aisle, I flag him down. I'm like, I ain't got no click.
Isaiah James, 25 years old, Chasity's husband, recently released from prison. A man with a history of legal trouble that followed him like a shadow into the streets, into the home, and ultimately into that parking lot. The marriage had not just collapsed, it had curdled into something dangerous, controlling, unpredictable. The kind of relationship where you never quite know which version of the person you're going to get today. And then enter Iona Burgos, also 25, also Sacramento, his girlfriend, not an ex, not a past mistake, a current active girlfriend existing right alongside his marriage to Chasity. Think about what that does to a person psychologically. You are still legally bound to someone. You share children with someone. And that same person has openly moved on while still demanding access to you. That is not just betrayal. That is a control system designed to keep Chasity destabilized, questioning herself, never fully free to walk away. And on Valentine's Day, after he had already put his hands on her, Isaiah James picked up the phone and called her, said they needed to talk, said meet him. She went. Because that is what cycles of abuse do to a person. They don't just hurt you physically, they rewire the way you process danger. They make the most unsafe person in your life feel like the only one who can give you peace. Chasity wasn't weak, she was human, and Isaiah James knew exactly how to use that against her.
They can't even hear you guys.
Isaiah James, 25 years old, Chasity's husband, recently released from prison, a man with a history of legal trouble that followed him like a shadow into the streets, into the home, and ultimately into that parking lot. The marriage had not just collapsed, it had curdled into something dangerous, controlling, unpredictable. The kind of relationship where you never quite know which version of the person you're going to get today. And then enter Iona Burgos, also 25, also Sacramento, his girlfriend, not an ex, not a past mistake, a current active girlfriend existing right alongside his marriage to Chasity. Think about what that does to a person psychologically. You are still legally bound to someone. You share children with someone. And that same person has openly moved on while still demanding access to you. That is not just betrayal. That is a control system designed to keep Chasity destabilized, questioning herself, never fully free to walk away. And on Valentine's Day, after he had already put his hands on her, Isaiah James picked up the phone and called her, said they needed to talk, said meet him.
Did you hear me? I said I was like taking my daddy on a date. Somebody gonna say, "Oh, your dude's out." I just start saying dad. People are creeps. No, that's not what I was talking about.
You love your pony. Why you staring at that? You love your papa. You love your papa. Papa love you too.
She went, because that is what cycles of abuse do to a person. They don't just hurt you physically, they rewire the way you process danger. They make the most unsafe person in your life feel like the only one who can give you peace. Chasity wasn't weak, she was human, and Isaiah James knew exactly how to use that against her.
6-year-old Chasity Sparkman was shot and killed in the Lake Crest Village Shopping Center in the Pocket neighborhood. Our Roxanne Elias has followed this story since it happened on that tragic day. And Roxanne, this is such a big development. How did the family react to all this?
It is, Laura. I spoke with Sparkman's Aunt Dee Dee, who answered my call by saying she was so excited to hear the two suspects were finally caught. Aunt Dee Dee is actually granted custody of Sparkman's 8 and 6-year-old children in case anything ever happened to her. Now, the family has gone through every emotion possible, while Sparkman's Aunt Dee Dee remains strong for the kids. Sacramento police said Tuesday night Isaiah James and Iona Burgos was taken into custody in New York City. Police have not confirmed the relationship between the suspects and Sparkman, but Aunt Dee Dee confirmed with us today that the pair are indeed Sparkman's husband and his girlfriend. She found out about the arrest after Sparkman's funeral and right before her services. Dee Dee says that the two children Sparkman left behind they both jumped for joy after learning about the arrest, and the family is now at peace. Police say both suspects face extradition to Sacramento for homicide-related charges. The family is waiting to hear about the next steps in the case.
Roxanne, our hearts break for this family. Ever since the first day we heard that this happened, we know Chasity leaves behind beautiful children, and we know that you'll be following this story very closely and reaching out to the family every step of the way there. Roxanne Elias, thank you.
This is the kind of story Unseen True Crime Stories is dedicated to sharing, not just for entertainment, but for vital, grim lessons. If this story stirred something in you, if it made you think, then you know you need to be here for the next one. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and if you're still scrolling past without joining, I have to ask, what truth are you afraid to face? What essential understanding are you willing to miss out on? Tell us in the comments. We'll be here continuing to shed light on the shadows, because sometimes understanding the darkness is the only way to find the light. Thank you for watching.